Okay, finally from homework number 6, final one I'm going to do homework number 6 and homework number 7, part A, the last one in that section, number 8. This example we're going to go through just like the last one, and instead of doing Venn diagrams, we're going to test for validity using, or checking to see if it commits any fallacies, formal fallacies that is. So again, let's look at the identify the major term. Major term is the predicate place of the conclusion. So looking at the conclusion, predicate term is delicious foods. We're going to abbreviate with that with a D. It appears in the first statement, which is the correct place because the major premise goes on top. So next up, we're going to minor term is the subject place of the conclusion. So this whole thing, foods served at festivals, is the minor term. We're going to abbreviate that with F, and that appears also in the second premise, which is correct because the minor premise goes in the middle, the second premise. And then let's identify the middle term. So the middle term is the other term that's used in both of the premises. In our case, that's hot dogs. Used in both, not used in the conclusion. So we're going to abbreviate that with an H for the middle term. And then let's go ahead and fill out this structure so that we can see the mood in the figure. Some hot dogs are not delicious foods, so some H are not D. Some hot dogs are foods served at festivals, so some H are F. And then finally the conclusion, some foods served at festivals are not delicious foods, so some F are not D. So let's look at the mood. The mood is, what are these three statements? Some are not, that's an O statement. Some are, that's an I statement. Some are not, again, that's an O statement. So we have O, I, O. For the figure, we look at this shape down here, this diagram down here. And we're looking at the middle terms. So let's circle the two middle terms in the two premises. Middle term is H. So those are both on the left-hand side. So it's going to be figure number 3. The reason we know that is because when you're remembering this diagram in your head, if you do it my way, I just like doing it this way, but these two lines are really close together. So in the second figure, both of the middle terms would have to be on the right. In the third figure, both of the middle terms are on the left, which they are here. So this is going to be figure 3. So put those together and we have form OIO3. All right, so let's move to the fallacies and check for validity. Existential import, again, that says that if you commit that fallacy, it means you have two universal premises and a particular conclusion. That's the only way it commits the fallacy. And we have two particular premises, so we don't even have to worry about it. That does not violate or violate the fallacy. So the next one is the one for one, which says that if we have a negative premise, we have to have a negative conclusion. And if we have a negative conclusion, we have to have exactly one negative premise. Can't have two negative premises. So this O is negative, I is affirmative, O is negative. So it looks like we have one negative conclusion, one negative premise. So we're good there. It doesn't violate the fallacy. Next one is distribution. So distribution, let's underline all of the distributed terms in each statement. So again, let's look down here. The first one is a no statement. So the second term is going to be distributed. Second statement is an I statement. Nothing is distributed, so we don't underline anything. O again, the second term is going to be distributed. So let's underline the D. All right. So let's look at, first we'll look at the middle terms and see if the middle term is distributed at least once. These are the two occurrences of the middle term, H, and neither one of them is distributed. So it does indeed violate the fallacy of undistributed middle. Again, we can stop there. This is the same as the last one, but let's go ahead, just for practice, look at illicit major and illicit minor. That says that the major and the minor term both, if either one is distributed in the conclusion, then it has to be distributed up in the premises. F is not distributed in the conclusion, so we don't even have to look up in the premises. D is distributed in the conclusion, so we have to look up into the argument and make sure that it's also distributed where it appears. And the only other place it appears is in the major premise, and it's distributed in both. So we're good there. Doesn't violate either of the illicit major or the illicit minor. But because we do have one fallacy, and that's all we need, that is enough to tell us that this argument is invalid.